Voices in the Walls, The Lost Souls of Carver House. Sera and Zain stood hand in hand, gazing at the grand, renovated Victorian house that would be their new home. Its ornate facade, with gabled roofs and stained glass windows, exuded a timeless charm that had drawn them in from the moment they saw it. The couple was excited to start their new life together in this historic beauty. On the first night, after the movers had left and the house was finally quiet, Sera and Zain lay in bed, relishing the tranquility. But as the clock struck midnight, Sera's eyes fluttered open. She strained to listen, certain she had heard something. A faint whisper, barely audible, seemed to emanate from the walls. "Zain, did you hear that?" Sera whispered, nudging her husband awake. Zain groggily listened, but the house was silent again. "It's an old house, Sera. Probably just settling noises." But Sera couldn't shake the feeling of unease. The next day, she found herself drawn to the walls, pressing her ear against them, hoping to catch the elusive sound. As she did, a soft, sorrowful cry seeped through, sending chills down her spine. "Zain, I heard it again." "There's someone in the walls," Sera insisted. Skeptical but concerned for his wife, Zain agreed to investigate. They started with the history of the house, diving into old records and archives. They discovered that the house had been built in the late 1800s by a wealthy industrialist, Thomas Carver. The house had seen many occupants over the decades, but its darkest chapter was during the 1920s when it had been used as a boarding house for troubled women. Intrigued and horrified, Sera and Zain dug deeper and found a series of disturbing events. Several women had mysteriously vanished during that time, their disappearances never solved. The boarding house had been shut down after accusations of abuse and maltreatment surfaced against the owner, a sinister man named Edgar Holloway. Determined to uncover the truth, Sera and Zain began to explore the house more thoroughly. They searched for hidden passages or secret rooms that might explain the whispers and cries. In the basement, behind an old bookshelf, they discovered a concealed door. With a sense of dread, they opened it and descended into a dark, narrow corridor. The air grew colder as they walked, the whispers growing louder, more distinct. Sera clutched Zain's hand tightly as they reached a small, dank room. The walls were lined with makeshift beds, and the remnants of old chains and manacles lay scattered on the floor. "This is where they were kept," Zain murmured, his voice heavy with sorrow. Sera's eyes filled with tears as the reality of the place sank in. The whispers around them grew into a cacophony of voices, each one telling a story of pain and despair. The couple realized that the souls of the women who had suffered here were still trapped, unable to find peace. Determined to help, Sera and Zain reached out to a local historian and a medium. Together they conducted a séance in the dark room, hoping to communicate with the spirits. The medium, an elderly woman named Agnes, spoke soothingly to the restless souls, promising them release. As the séance progressed, the room grew colder, and the voices became clearer. The spirits recounted their stories, and Agnes listened with empathy, guiding them towards the light. One by one, the whispers faded, and a sense of calm settled over the room. When the séance ended, Sera and Zain felt an overwhelming sense of relief. The house, once filled with sorrow, now seemed lighter, as if a great burden had been lifted. They decided to honor the memory of the women by turning the hidden room into a small memorial, ensuring their stories would never be forgotten. In the years that followed, Sera and Zain lived happily in their Victorian home, no longer haunted by the whispers and cries. The house, once a place of darkness, had become a sanctuary of peace and remembrance, a testament to the power of compassion and the resilience of the human spirit. Hit like, hit subscribe, and stay haunted.